Hey everyone, today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Andromeda 6. In last episode we actually met the new pilot, which is a very cute girl. She's right over here, this girl, and she's very cute, very energetic, very kind of provocative even. But yeah, let's just load our game and continue where we left off. They already saved my life. It's not right to ask for more from them. Aya stops, pulling her bottom lip between her teeth before she turns to me. It's not fine. A job in Terranium? Fending for yourself in that place when you don't even know your last name? Shaking her head, she put a hand on my shoulder, looking me dead in the eye, and I start to understand a little of how she manages to keep a pair like Damon and Calderon in check. Look, don't worry about that. I'm not going to let that dummy leave you stranded in... Oh, there was a sound. Did you hear that? The hissing sound of the pressure door opening next to us interrupts Aya. Kiki, didn't I tell you to get some rest? Startled by her distant voice, I turned to find a very annoyed doctor, her hands on her hips and her foot tapping expectantly. What's all this fuss about anyway? Sorry, we were talking and then I found out some dumb A is thinking of doing something even dumber. I lost my cool Rye. Rayonna's expression melts when she notices my confusion, her eyes settling on Aya with an almost maternal fondness. Then you go and deal with it, Aya, but please don't drag Kiki along with you. She needs to rest now. A sheepish smile on her face, Aya squeezes my shoulder once more before walking to the door. Aye, on it. Aye, I get it. So, and then she adds, quiet enough for me only to hear, you better do what the dog says, you don't want to see her when she's mad. Which actually, we saw previously that Bash, which is the engineer, he said that you don't want to get on the bad side of the doctor, so she seems very cool and kind, and she's very maternal, she's like your resident mom, but she can actually get pretty dangerous, and I think we saw a glimpse of that right now. She is not someone you want to mess with, and I don't think anyone on the ship is someone you want to mess with. So I think that might get a little bit dangerous once we start getting into like the deep romance of things. But so far we have been romancing as much as possible. We romanced Damon and Bash and June, and I think the only one we haven't romanced so far is Rayonna, who is actually this medic girl here, the blue girl, who looks like a witcher once again, I might add. So her footsteps fade as she skips down the hall, and Rayonna offers me an apologetic smile. And don't worry about her. I'm not even sure what she's talking about. And true, I think she was upset about me being in Terranium, but I can't really tell why. I don't think any of us do most of the time. But enough chit-chat, you need to rest, come on. Her smile is soft, but the firmness of her voice makes it clear that I don't have a choice in the matter. She's answering with a smile of my own. I follow her away from the bridge. So... we're going, and my body is still sore enough to be a bother, my legs having grown stiff from traipsing around the ship the past few hours. I didn't notice it so much when I was walking with everyone, but resting doesn't sound half bad. So we're going to rest, and after hours of lying in bed, tossing and turning, I finally admit that I'm not going to be able to get any sleep and settle instead of pacing in the small room. My mind is stuck in an endless loop, sprinting 1,000 miles an hour, and the harder I try to think about my past, the harder my head pounds against my skull. Nothing feels right. And I would hate to think that Rayonna would do if she saw me burning myself out like this, but I can't help it. Especially now that I need to come up with a plan for when we get to Terranium. I don't remember much of the Junker planet, like everything else, but I know it's not a good place to be alone. Gambling dens, arenas, bars, and strip clubs. What exactly am I supposed to do in a place like that? It was easy to joke about starting a new life earlier, but now it's sounding very daunting, which of course, like, when you have amnesia, you're not supposed to go around and try to figure stuff out on your own. You really do need help. So yeah, that's a very bad place to be in, and I can understand why the pilot, Aya, she was so mad at the captain for saying those things. So, heaving a sigh, I eventually gave up pacing and dropped down on the bed, crossing my arms behind my head and staring up at the metal ceiling, counting the bolts and rivets above me. My head shoots up at the sound of a knock at the door, and I push myself off the bed and walk over to open it. It's Oh, we can choose who comes over here. Let's choose June. I think he was always the one that's like... And by the way, June was the one who actually picked us up from the planet. We were very, very badly injured. So June it is. He stands in front of me, his hand tucked in his pockets and a warm smile on his face. Sorry to bother you this late. Under the warmth of his gaze, I allow myself to let out a small smile, despite the worries that still hang in the back of my mind. Would it be alright if we took this inside? Oh sure, come in. And June follows me inside, taking a seat on the same chair and mimicking his position from earlier in the day. He looks around curiously, and something about the tight set of his mouth makes me feel like he has a lot to say, but he's holding it all in. And he says, I'm sorry that I did not check on you earlier. It's been pretty hectic around here. And I sit on the edge of the bed, matching the light, apologetic smile with one of my own. And you don't have to apologize. I could tell things were busy, and I'm fine. I guess that means no memories came back? Nope. Wringing my hands in front of me anxiously. But what about you? Is everything okay with the ship? His eyebrows dip a little, and I get the impression he doesn't get asked this nearly enough. But June was the one who brought me aboard in Goldis. He saved my life, which is true. We should not forget that. And I don't have the first clue on how to thank him for it. Am I? Of course, everything is fine. I'm just worried about you. And there's no need to worry about me. You, on the other hand, seemed pretty shaken when the lights faltered earlier. And those were really just some technical issues, maybe more structural than technical, but it's handled. And stretching his long arms a bit, June straightens his posture on the chair. And he always looks so put together, whereas I mean, it's fine. Everything's under control. And it's impossible not to smile at the ability he has to put me at ease. And I have to admit that his presence is so comforting. We'll have to make a quick stop to sort some things out, but nothing to worry about. I nod, hesitating a little at the words that poise themselves on the tip of my tongue, but I can't put it off any longer. June, I really wanted to say thank you. And what for? Everything. Saving my life and helping me out, that meant a lot. Having a friendly face when I woke up without a clue what was going on. And something about him turns gent. Oh my god, look at that face. Oh my god. Okay, he turns a little closer, his eyes fixed on me. I wish I could say more to let him know that I'm fine, that I will be fine, and I hate to be a burden on the one who helped me remember my own name. And simple as that. I'm just glad you pulled through. Which reminds me, I've got something for you. Oh, could that be a kiss? Jim pulls out a small metal object from his pocket, handing it over to me. You had this in your pocket when I found you. I thought you might want it back. What is it? I reach for the object, feeling the cool touch of metal on my fingertips. He shakes his head, leaning forward a bit to admire the way the light bounces off its surface when I roll it in my hand. Not a clue, but it feels important somehow. Aya and Bash took a look at it, but everyone actually did, but all we recognize is the metal, Kitalphanite, hard enough to get a hold of even before the planet was destroyed, and now it's all about as rare as expensive as a substance can get. I'm only partly listening to June now, mesmerized instead of by the sphere in my hand. There's a kind of power about it, some low, thrumming energy running over my skin, desperate for release. Everything about it feels familiar. It feels as if guided by some distant memory. I close my palm over the sphere, squeezing once before releasing it slowly. I think this is the memory sphere, actually. Do you remember that when we looked at there was like a setting screen, where we had different photos of the characters, and there was a little sphere that was like blue and metal, and I think that was called like the memory sphere or something like that. I do remember that, actually. So the shock on June's face must be a precise mirror of mine as we both stare at the sphere opening its lid, showing its contents and filling the room with a melody. The first few notes of tune tinkle from the sphere as it opens. Can you hear that? That's the music. Oh my god, it's so cool. So, and his face is just as dumbfounded as my own. It's a music box. And there it is. That is exactly what it is. It's the music box. But I think it does have some sort of magical purpose, and I think it stores our memories. So, let us see. The inside of the sphere is an intricate maze of metal, moving cogs, neon lights, and sizzling energy, and my eyes are mesmerized by the movement as it plays its slow, sad lullaby. The tinkling notes echo through the room, each as hauntingly familiar as the last. It's almost cruel how it caresses the edges of my memories, taunting me to remember faces and names which are no longer there. My heart tugs at the hopelessness of it all, and another sharp pain shoots through my head. With my teeth clenched tight against the pain, it's only now when I feel the wetness on my cheeks that I realize that I'm crying. But why am I crying? The music box hasn't triggered any memories in me, only feelings. A sadness and longing so strong it makes my heart ache. The melody ends, and for a long time after, neither of us say a word. Okay. And until June breaks the silence, his voice barely more than a whisper. Anything? June's voice pulls me out of my reverie, and I have to blink a few times to regain my composure. He holds my gaze with his own, warm and gentle, as if to say he will never judge me, and yet I see the question hidden in his eyes, an echo of my own. I swallow thickly. Again, the thick swallowing, dude. Oh my god, what is up with the thick swallowing? It pays me greatly as I shake my head in response. And we can say, will I ever remember? Who am I, where I'm from, and anything at all? I ask myself more than anything. I hate to say this, but maybe you shouldn't remember. My eyes flick to his, the confusion hitting me like a brick wall. What? Have you thought that maybe whatever your mind is holding back from you is for your own good? Maybe. I mean, you know how some people, when they get traumatized, they actually block the memory from their brain? I mean, their brain actually does that for them. And it's usually because your brain wants to like get rid of something very, very bad that happened to you. I'm not sure, like I'm obviously not a psychiatrist or something like that. I don't know anything, but I've read something about that, and I'm not sure why and how it happens, but I don't think anyone knows, to be honest, because nobody knows what the brain is all about, truly. So, I don't understand. And think about it. What if what happened in your past was so traumatic you don't want to remember? My eyes fall on the music box, on the one and only tether I have left of my past. There must be something that makes it worth remembering. June takes longer to answer this time, his expression darkening in a way I've never seen before. Okay. I hope so, I really do. And taking a deep breath, he stands, running a hand through his hair. He blinks a couple of times and the darkness dissipates, leaving only what familiar smile in its wake. I better get going. I wouldn't do for someone to see me coming out of your room so late. Why is that? June opens and closes his mouth a couple of times before managing to reply with a chuckle. My friends here, they would never believe we were just chatting. Not that I would mind, but I'd hate to leave you wide open to their teasing. They can be relentless. Oh. I did enjoy spending time with you regardless of appearances. The flush that settles on my skin is undeniable, and I think the time to sleep has come. Now. Same here. It's too bad we won't get to spend more time together since I'll be dropped off at Nose Vega. Captain's orders. My voice trails off as the prospect of being alone in that place hits me, and I only look up again when the weight of June's hand settles on my shoulder. Is that where you want to be? Not particularly. I shrug and June pushes himself up, preparing to leave. Then you leave that to me. I have a favor or two I can call in with the captain, and he won't be dropping you off anywhere. My mouth drops at the realization that for the second time, Ju has completely saved my skin. Waving his hand dismissively, he's already one step out of the door when he looks back over his shoulder. If you need anything, my room is just down the hall. Feel free to come knocking anytime. And you might want to consider brightening up this room a little. It's yours now for as long as you need it. Gratitude swells inside me, and as much as I try, I can't will myself to thank him for what he's doing for me. So instead, I settle with a smile, hoping it conveys the emotion well enough. Sweet dreams, Kiki. The door slides closed before I get the chance to reply, but I'm too tired to yell. With a heavy sigh, I lay down on my bed, holding the music box up above me. There it is. The metal glints in the fluorescent light, and I vaguely recall hearing of Ketel finite before. It's a metal that was found on Catalpa before it was destroyed, mined from deep below the watery surface in the ocean caves. That explains its pearlescent shine. Why do you feel so familiar? I speak out loud, squinting as something catches my eye within their intricate detailing. There's an engraving on it, NLP. What does it mean, though? Feeling the exhaustion weighing on me, I decide the question can wait. Opening the music box once more, I set it beside me on the bed, watching the dance of the lights and gears as the tinkling melody lulls me to sleep. My eyes grow heavy, and so heavy that I'm pulled under by the weight of my exhaustion. Wavering on the brink of dreams and reality, I hear it. A sweet, strong voice. Familiar, and so familiar. Be strong, Kiki, be safe. You're a fighter, a survivor. The day where I have to leave you will come, sooner than we both know. Promise me? Don't give up. Who are you, and why can't I remember you? And I think this is a perfect time to end this episode. Let me just overwrite my little save here. So yeah, I think this is where we're gonna end this episode. I'll see you in the next one, and once again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave a like on the video. You can also leave a comment down below. I would really appreciate that. And bye bye!